Abraham Lincoln, the great emancipator, Honest Abe, the man who saved the Union, we all know the legend. But what if I told you the man on the penny had a dark side? A side so complex and controversial, it's been deliberately swept under the rug of history. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on 7 dark secrets of Abraham Lincoln you won't believe. Stick around, because number 1 will completely change how you see him. Let's start with number 7, Lincoln's controversial views on race. We praise him for the Emancipation Proclamation, but his personal beliefs were far from modern. In his famous debates with Stephen Douglas, Lincoln stated, "I am not, nor ever have been, in favor of bringing about in any way the social and political equality of the white and black races." He even supported the idea of colonization, a plan to send freed slaves back to Africa or 2 colonies in Central America. He saw it as a potential solution to racial tensions in America. While his views did evolve, especially towards the end of his life, it's a stark reminder that the heroes of history are often products of their time, with all its flaws and prejudices. Coming in at number 6, his use of harsh, dictatorial powers. To preserve the Union, Lincoln bent the Constitution to its breaking point. He suspended habeas corpus, the right to a trial before being jailed. This allowed the military to arrest and detain thousands of suspected Confederate sympathizers without charge. He shut down hundreds of opposition newspapers and jailed their editors. His own Attorney General warned him that he was exercising more power than any king of England. Was it a necessary evil to win the war, or a dangerous overreach of presidential authority? Historians are still debating that question today. Number 5 reveals a more personal struggle. Lincoln suffered from severe, crippling depression. In his 20s and 30s, he experienced what he called melancholy, which today we'd likely diagnose as clinical depression. It got so bad that at one point, his friends had to remove all knives and razors from his room, fearing he might take his own life. He wrote letters describing his overwhelming sadness, once saying, "I am now the most miserable man living." This lifelong battle with his inner demons paints a picture of a man carrying not just the weight of a nation, but a profound personal burden as well. It's a powerful reminder that even the greatest leaders face silent struggles. Now for number 4, a truly bizarre tale, Lincoln the Duelist. Yes, you heard that right. In 1842, a young Lincoln, then an Illinois state legislator, wrote anonymous, satirical letters mocking a political rival, James Shields. When Shields found out who was behind them, he was furious and challenged Lincoln to a duel. As the challenged party, Lincoln got to choose the weapons. And what did he choose? Cavalry broadswords of the largest size. Imagine this, the lanky, 6 foot for Lincoln swinging a giant sword against the much shorter Shields. It was almost comical. Thankfully, at the last minute, their friends intervened and talked them out of it, preventing a bloody and potentially fatal encounter. Let's get even stranger with number 3, Lincoln's fascination with spiritualism and ghosts. After the death of his beloved son Willie in 1862, both Abraham and his wife, Mary Todd Lincoln, were consumed by grief. Mary began holding seances right in the White House, trying to contact their dead son. And surprisingly, Lincoln himself attended several of these sessions. Eyewitnesses claimed he was deeply interested in the supernatural. He also had recurring, prophetic dreams, including one just days before his assassination where he dreamt of a funeral in the White House. When he asked a soldier who had died, the soldier replied, "The president." He was killed by an assassin. It's a chilling and eerie part of the Lincoln story that's often overlooked. All right, we're down to the final 2. At number 2, Lincoln wasn't an abolitionist for most of his life. We think of him as the man who freed the slaves, but his primary goal was always to preserve the Union. In a famous letter, he wrote, "My paramount object in this struggle is to save the Union, and is not either to save or to destroy slavery. If I could save the Union without freeing any slave, I would do it, and if I could save it by freeing all the slaves, I would do it." and if I could save it by freeing some and leaving others alone, I would also do that. The Emancipation Proclamation was, at its core, a strategic military move. It applied only to states in rebellion, not to the border states that remained loyal to the Union. It was a brilliant political and military tactic that also happened to be a monumental step for human rights, but his motivation was complex. And now, the number one dark secret of Abraham Lincoln, the one that's the most shocking of all. Before he became the staunch defender of the Union, Lincoln defended a slave owner. In 1847, as a lawyer, he took the case of Robert Motson, a Kentucky slave owner who brought his slaves into the free state of Illinois to work on his farm. One of the slaves, Jane Bryant, escaped with her children, arguing that since they were on free soil, they were legally free. Who did Motson hire to argue for his right to reclaim his property? Abraham Lincoln. Lincoln argued in court that the slaves were only in Illinois temporarily and should be returned to Motson. It's a jaw-dropping moment in his career. The future great emancipator arguing to send a family back into bondage. Luckily for Jane Bryant, Lincoln lost the case, and the family was set free. This single case forces us to confront the immense and complicated journey Lincoln took, from a lawyer defending a slave owner to the president who would ultimately destroy the institution of slavery. From his complicated racial views and dictatorial tactics to his personal demons, dueling past, and even his defense of a slave owner, the real Abraham Lincoln was far more complex than the myth. He was a man of contradictions, a flawed human being who rose to an impossible challenge and, in the process, changed the course of history. What do you think is the most shocking secret? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoy uncovering the hidden side of history, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell for more from Historio. Thanks for watching.